a variety of transport choices. Public transport, cars, yes, people have cars, but also public transport, bicycle path, walking trails, so that people can walk to their work, walk to the school, walk to do the shopping, use a bicycle. Might not be obvious here but in Canada, for example, the cities are not built so that bicycle can be used, so nobody uses a bike in Canada. But the movement is to go back toward those values of active transportation. But you need to some design principle of communities to achieve that. You need to create diverse housing opportunities. You have some some homes for old people living together, but also single-family homes, multiple family homes, low income, higher income, all mixed together, not creating isolated communities. You encourage growth in existing communities, so you develop existing communities rather than using land outside of communities. So you stop the urban sprawl. Instead of having cities going bigger and bigger, you stop going bigger and bigger, and you try to redevelop communities within the existing footprint of the community. You develop by preserving open spaces. What we're seeing now is that we have typically a piece of land would be developed and with some land that is the same size for every owner. Now the land developer keeps a part of the land as public land for every owner and sells some smaller piece of land for individual owners. And that public land is become part of the community to be shared by everybody. You preserve agricultural land. You use smarter and cheaper on the long term. Might cost you more to develop green buildings now, but in the long term you will save some money. By doing that, you foster unique neighborhood identity, but also you engage community in living together. You engage citizens in living together in communities. This type of concept is gaining a lot of popularity in North America as a new way of developing some lands, a new way of having people living together. Maybe a final topic that I will cover is from the United Nations, what is called the Sustainable Energy for All. The graph on the right side here states that in 2009, this is IEA data, in 2009, 1.3 billion persons on this planet did not have or does not have access to electricity. That's significant. That's 20% of the planet. 2.7, almost half of the planet, has no access to clean cooking facilities. What the United Nations has said with the Sustainable Energy for All is that it's a call to all stakeholders, government, industries, people, communities, to make global commitments to action which will drive change. So what it means is that by the year 2030, the objective is that everybody on this planet will have access to electricity. And everybody on this planet will have clean cooking facilities. It's a major challenge, but the United Nations thinks that it can be done. It's going to be done in two ways. This is from a speech from the chair of UN Energy. Industrialized countries must accelerate the transition to low emission technologies, low greenhouse gas emission technologies. And developed countries are doing that. But what's interesting for developing countries, which many of them are growing rapidly and at a large scale, is that you have the opportunities, or these countries have the opportunity of learning from the past experience of developed countries and leapfrogging, so jumping over conventional fossil fuel-based energy system and jumping over that and going directly into renewable energy right now. Not using fossil fuel as a way to generate electricity. Well, you have some, and you need to work with what you have, but in terms of future development, going right now directly into renewable energy rather than fossil fuel. So there's three interlinked objectives of sustainable energy for all. So by the year 2030, so in 20 years from now, the objective is to ensure universal access to modern energy services, to double the rate of improvement in energy efficiency. So again, energy efficiency is part of the solution. And to double the share of renewable energy in By doing that, I think that distributed power generation will be part of the solution, and I would really encourage you to look at distributed power generation as a way to achieve self-sufficiency, a way to increase energy security, and a way to capitalize on domestic renewable energy resources to control costs and to minimize your investment in infrastructure. One way of doing that is through what is called community energy. So you've got municipalities, cooperative, community groups, institutions owning their own energy system for the community, and that's an interesting model also. But because of lack of time, I will go fast on this one here. Essentially, the principle is that when you own the energy system, you're much more engaged in terms of your energy management, energy consumption. So, in conclusion, in terms of renewable energy development, there are some enablers, some things that helps a country to increase the penetration of renewable energy in the energy portfolio. The first one, and that's based on our own experience in Canada, is resource mapping. Once you know what the resource is, it is easier for our government policymakers to define some policies, define some programs to exploit that renewable energy. We've started with Professor Jumbob in Thailand to do some wind energy mapping, but I would encourage you to look at mapping the whole country for wind, but also for biomass, small hydro, solar, tidal, and this is going to tell you what your resource is. Once you know what your resource is, then you can develop some program to exploit that resource and capitalize on that resource. There's going to be some technology development, small scale systems. Small wind turbines is the technology is not mature yet. There's a lot of development, but there's space to do some technology development in a small wind turbine compared to the large scale wind turbine, which the technology is mature. Solar PV also, there's movement there. We need better cost-effective system, in particular in solar system. We also need what we call technology certification. As smaller system will be on the market, will be available on the market, you need some third-party organization that will certify the capacity of that technology. If you buy a small wind farm, not a small wind farm, but if you buy a small wind turbine for your house, and the company that sells you that gives you a capacity, you want to be sure that it's the right capacity. So technology certification is a movement that is increasing very rapidly in Europe, starting to come in Canada, but I would think eventually in Thailand it's going to be important also. Energy storage, if you want to do some advanced research work, energy storage is a great place where development will be made in the future. Efficient public policies is important also, and usage of smart grid to integrate renewable energy. So I think that's my last slide, or almost the last slide. Some elements of a roadmap for Thailand. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but since I'm here, I'm going to tell you what I think. But essentially, things for you to think about. One is renewable energy resource mapping. You should do wind, solar, small hydro, biomass, tidal mapping of Thailand. That's a fundamental. I would encourage you to go towards demonstration projects also. You have some in Thailand, I know you have some, but I think you could do some more based on renewable energy, whether wind, solar, small hydro, biomass, or eventually tidal. Should do some demonstration projects on smart grids and also on energy efficiency. Again, I know you're doing some, but the more you do some, the more you learn, the more you build momentum towards those systems. You need good policy and government programs in renewable energy, community energy, and efficiency. And Professor Joseph mentioned it in his presentation, and we did not talk about what we would say each other. He mentioned about training program. I'm mentioning it also. If we want to move towards renewable energy, sustainable energy, green communities, sustainable communities, we need to train people. Whether at the university level, but also at the technical level. People who will install PV systems, people who will install smart meters, people who will install those equipment. It's a fundamental as you move towards sustainable green communities and renewable energy. So essentially the climate is changing. There's a wide spectrum of actions must be taken to reduce greenhouse gas emission and reduce our impact on the environment. But we need to adapt and prepare to the low carbon economy. Alternative and renewable energy is part of the solution and offers some great opportunities, notably for Thailand here. So essentially transforming a fossil fuel-based energy system to a renewable energy-based system. Working towards distributed power generation as your future development of the energy sector. So therefore you will capitalize on your indigenous sources of renewable energy by developing small-scale, large-scale demonstration projects. So I wish you well. The more I learn about what's being done in Thailand in the energy sector, the more I'm impressed, and the more that I'm learning also some new ideas. But I think we need to all continue to work together to have more renewable energy in our energy portfolio, so therefore to achieve sustainable communities and sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Of Tostem Thai Marketing Company Limited. I request you to kindly come on the stage. He'll be talking about the importance of standards to green buildings. He has more than 20 years of experience with Tostem being a worldwide famous company. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
Good morning to everybody. On behalf of Tostem, I would like to thank you for Rajamangala University to invite me to explain about something about SEGA. I a little bit introduce our company. We are a Japanese Korean company. We have established in Thailand more than 25 years ago, but mostly we manufacturing about the window and the aluminum and selling that to our foreign company in Japan, not selling in Thailand. So we have more experience in Thailand more than 25 years ago. But today we will try to tell you today is one part that Dr. Lee Popon has explained to you about lead. In the lead, we have one portion of the lead is about performance criteria. It's one thing of the performance criteria to tell you to explain this. And for more another detail, may I can speak Thai a little bit. เราเป็นบริษัทญี่ปุ่น 100% นะครับที่เมืองไทยมา 25 ปีแล้วนะครับในสิ่งที่เราจะพูดนี้เป็นสิ่งที่เราต้องการสร้างมาตรฐานสำหรับงานหรือการอยู่อาศัยของคนไทยทุกคนนะครับซึ่งสิ่งนี้จะต้องใช้เวลาซึ่งเราร่วมมือทำหลายๆการจะให้ความรู้สิ่งที่พูดเกิดขึ้นมานะครับ The one part is we can explain that about the performance of the staff because many countries have the performance in Thai we don't have. Sorry, it's not so good for Thai people in the field. I will explain by our work study in Thai more than 25 years. Nowadays, the Thai lifestyle has changed. As you know, we have more urban community expand to the rural community, especially in the outer ring of the Bangkok, in the north also. And the rural community are settled to urban community. The pattern, the way of the lifestyle has changed. You can see many villages, many houses will increase outer in Bangkok also. Actually, in Thai, you have the lifestyle, you have environmental time. We have sunshine and hot climate, maybe almost here. We have some heavy rain, but in Thai we have a wide space and have silent and quiet place in somewhere. And also we have wind flow every time. It was more comfortable to stay in Thai every day, every year also. And for in change to the house, it's a typical house of Thai. And you have to it's a good point of the Thai house style is that you have a wider roof, you have a more window. What to me, the wider roof and more window, you get more comfortable to stay. So cool and no sunshine to put inside the house. That means you have more comfortable to stay in your house. For that, the good point, you have a good ventilation in your house. You have to cool every time you stay in the house. some rain, have no any rain spread in your house, you can keep maybe freezing. And if you some hot shine or sunshine, to have a wide sunshade, that the sun cannot penetrate into your house also. It's a normal type of house that you see. But now, in time have changed to the civilization. We have too many clouds, too many big jam, environment. That means the residential change concerned to the civilization also. The house or the previous house now changed to the small house. As you can see, nowadays, right side has changed. The house also has been changed also. On the model house, as you see, because now, as you know, the land side in time will increase up. But now anybody can buy the house. That's why, because the construction of the house is low there. But the house have a small area, a limited area, and the design depends on the area and you pay for what. So tendency also. So that, as you see, the modern house have a small sunshade and a little bit for the window for ventilation. If compared with both the previous house and the modern house nowadays, the lifestyle, as the past time in Thai, we have a single house and large area to stay. But now we have a complex, we have a townhouse, we have a single townhouse, it's a community. We have, in the last time, we have a list of topics. Now many topics there in the area, this community also. And the house model, last we have a wide roof and many of windows in the house. Now we have a narrow shade and less of window. What they happen? If you stay like the small house or the modern house, you can get a noisy because you are not so near. And another way, you can get the sound from your next door also. It's a normal, as you know. Maybe anybody can stay in Bangkok and know about these things. Everybody. Another way is when you get a small house, about the ventilation. It's quite difficult because you have small space to have flow and wind and air also. That means your house must be more warm up. Not so in the things warm up. How to solve this problem? You put the air condition in your house to keep it cool, right? And another, why the traffic jam, you get the one thing for the traffic jam is small. But smoke, you can see, and last week ago and last month ago, in the northern, it has more smoke like this. The smoke, what happens to you for you? It's a kind of pollution for the exterior product, and some of the interior product also have a pollution also. It's a toxic also. That's one thing. And another thing, for the roof shade, you have a small roof shade. If you have some rainy, you can stop and see the water can dig to your house. It's one thing you can see. Maybe it's a normal. You think it's a normal. Most Thai people think it's a normal. No, it's not normal. Another thing, if you have a small roof shade, the sunlight can go through your house easily. That means your inner house can be warmer, more of that. That's the normal. And you cannot ventilation anything. So, for this thing that happened in Thai, we got the many requirements how to get the performance, to get the performance of something that we do to give the Thai people. What the requirement is for performance? One is the sound reduction. The sound reduction is meant to reduce sound because it's straight to classical. We call the sound reduction performance. Another is water tightness. It's the water tightness performance. And no heat for the sunlight. Sound, we say that is soundproof performance. The air leak, we have to have air leak. It's an air tightness performance. Another is thermal resistance performance. The next is no pollution for the exterior. We call endurance performance. The last one is the base maintenance. We call durable performance. It's a thing. It's a normal standard of performance in the criteria for the needs. And we have surveyed what is the performance happened in any country. We have three kinds of point of performance, as I said, wind pressure, trident performance, and sound reduction. In Japan, they have this standard already, but in Thai, it's zero. It's a bad thing. In Australia, they have two, wind pressure and tightness. In China, they have only two units. In Singapore, they have two. In Vietnam, they have only one. And also in Malaysia, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Indonesia, a few. It's a few. Because I said we are the window maker, we must show you about the window. The window, how to do? We have a main point also for the wind pressure resistance and tightness. For the tightness and loud reduction is the main performance to explain. How to get the wind pressure resistance performance? The wind pressure resistance performance is to indicate how much the window and door can bear from the window. The purpose is to consider the wind pressure resistance to prevent loss or crack and or broken the window from the wind or for the typhoon or some storm come through the house. How to calculate? We call that we have a wind pressure resistance performance in based on, because in each country we have another window different on the location of the region. So we have a chamber to blow the wind into the chamber